Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine having a relationship with something for decades, like really trusting it, knowing all its little quirks, and then just a simple question. It completely flips everything you thought you knew.
Hmm.
That's kind of exactly where our deep dive begins today. We're exploring some really fascinating insights from the source, the Corolla Collaboration by William L. Weaver.
Yeah, today we're diving into, well, automotive engineering, sure, but also human-machine collaboration, and believe it or not, the nature of truth itself. And it all gets sparked by a Toyota Corolla, of all
Right.
things.
Seems so ordinary.
Exactly. But this isn't just, about what's under the hood. It's really about how a conversation, a dialogue with an AI can become this collaborative investigation, almost like a new kind of scientific tool.
So our mission here really is to explore how humans can work with AI, not just to like get answers we already expect, but to find totally new questions,
Hmm.
and uncover truths that might be hidden deep inside these complex systems.
And it's not just theoretical stuff. It's pointing towards a potentially new way of understanding the world around us.
Now, you probably have your own car story, right? Maybe that old reliable car that feels like, I don't know, an old friend. It's seen you through a lot.
Uh-huh. That silent partner?
Exactly. Our author, William Weaver, he had that exact relationship with the Toyota Corolla for decades. Started with his family's first new one way back in '89.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah, and it continued through five more Corollas right up to his current 2024 LE. These cars were, like he says, silent partners. They adapted as his life changed, family growing, new commutes, even taking his own kids off to college in them.
That's quite a history with one model.
Totally. So you'd think, standing there at the gas pump with his newest one, he knows this car inside out, right? His first question was super simple, seems straightforward fuel. 87 octane E10, or should he go for the 90 octane ethanol free?
And that one got sorted pretty quickly.
Yeah, really quick. The math showed 87 octane E10 was just more cost effective. Simple cost per mile calculation, done.
Right. And just as a quick reminder for everyone, E10 fuel, that's the common stuff with about 10% ethanol blended in. An octane rating like 87 or 90, that's basically just about how resistant the fuel is to engine knock or pinging.
So higher isn't always better then.
Not necessarily, no.
Yeah.
Unless your engine is specifically designed for it, a higher octane rating doesn't always give you better performance or mileage. So, yeah, the cost per mile was the logical way to decide that first question.
Okay, but the story definitely didn't end there. See, after driving manual transmission cars for decades, the author felt this real sense of disconnect with the new Corolla's transmission. It's a CVT, a continuously variable transmission.
Ah, the CVT. Smooth, efficient, but yeah, it feels different.
Totally different. He missed that, tactile feedback, that feeling of being really in control, directly connected. What was the next big question that feeling sparked?
Well, exactly. That feeling of disconnect led him to wonder something more profound. Could the car's B mode, the braking mode, could that actually mimic the engine braking he was so used to from a manual car when, say, coming up to a stop sign?
Right, and just for context, engine braking in a manual, that's when you downshift or even just lift off the gas while it's in gear, right?
Yep. The engine itself helps slow the car down, less wear on the actual brakes, and it gives you that very direct sense of controlling the deceleration.
Okay, so what about the CVT then? How did that work?
So a continuously variable transmission, the CVT, it's different. It doesn't have fixed gears like a traditional automatic or a manual.
Yeah.
It uses, well, typically belts and pulleys, to change seamlessly through an infinite number of ratios.
Infinite.
Well,
Wow.
practically infinite, yeah. The goal is to keep the engine running at its most efficient speed, its optimal RPM for whatever speed you're going.
Yeah.
But the feel is different. No distinct shift points, just smooth acceleration. And that's what the author was noticing, that lack of distinct steps.
Okay, so he asks about using B mode for engine braking. Seems like a reasonable technical question.
You'd think. But when he took this question to, human-run online car forums, the reaction was intense.
Intense how?
He describes it as swift, near-unanimous condemnation. People were basically shouting, "Don't do it, you'll destroy the transmission."
Seriously, destroy it.
Yeah, and wild speculation, too. People were saying Toyota must have telemetry in the car, monitoring for this kind of abuse,
Yeah.
and that they'd flag it to void your warranty.
Get out, like using your wipers too much voids the warranty. That sounds nuts.
That does sound nuts. He calls it modern technological folklore, the social truth taking over. It is fascinating how quickly that kind of car myth can spread, isn't it? Like a modern urban legend just for car guys.
Absolutely. And it really shows how easily misconceptions pop up when maybe the underlying engineering isn't fully grasped by everyone.
Exactly.
But this whole fear, this perceived danger lurking inside the machine, it felt strangely familiar to the author. And this is where his background gets really interesting.
Ah, right. His past work.
Yeah, back in the 90s, he was a research contractor. He worked on developing tech for the F-22 fighter jet, specifically some of the very first fly-by-wire systems.
Okay, fly-by-wire. Let's break that down. It basically means there are no direct mechanical links, like cables or rods, between the pilot's controls, the stick and pedals, and the actual control surfaces on the plane, like the flaps and rudder.
It's all electronic.
All electronic. The pilot moves the joystick, expressing intent, I want to roll left or I want to climb, and then sophisticated flight computers interpret that intent and send electronic signals to actuators that move the surfaces. Crucially, the computer also makes sure the plane stays within its safe limits.
Protecting the plane and the pilot.
Precisely. So if a pilot tries to, say, pull too many Gs in a turn or make a maneuver that would cause too much acceleration jerk or overstress the airframe, the computer just won't allow it. It translates the intent safely. The human is still guiding, still in the loop, but the machine provides this incredibly sophisticated safety net.
Okay, I see where this is going. He drew a direct parallel to the Corolla.
Yep. Think about it. Your accelerator pedal. It's not pulling a cable anymore in most modern cars. It's an electronic sensor. Basically a joystick sending a signal about how much power you want.
And the brakes.
Same idea. Sensors measure how hard and how fast you press the pedal, and the computer figures out the optimal way to apply braking force, maybe even involving regenerative braking in hybrids.
And the gear selector, too, like putting it in D or B.
Just an electronic switch,
Okay.
making a request to the transmission control unit. So yeah, almost all the ways you interact with the car the driver controls, they're essentially electronic joysticks sending requests, not direct mechanical commands.
So, applying that way of thinking, that systems approach, what does it mean for using B mode?
It means we can apply what's called systems thinking. Instead of seeing the car as just a bunch of separate fragile parts that you might break.
Like the people on the forum seem to think.
Exactly. Instead, you see it as an integrated, robust system. The CBT isn't some delicate mystery box. It's a complex component managed by a powerful computer, the engine control unit, or ECU. And that ECU has built-in logic, safeguards. It's designed to handle the inputs it receives through things like the B mode setting.
So, based on first principles engineering logic.
The conclusion was pretty clear. Using B mode is perfectly safe. It's an engineered feature designed to be used. That crowd on the forums, their social truth was just, well, wrong in this case, based on the engineering truth.
Okay, that makes sense from an engineering perspective, but why the huge pushback online then? Just misunderstanding, or was it something else? Fear of the unknown.
I think it's a classic example of what the author terms social truth versus engineering truth.
Right.
The social truth is what becomes common knowledge, maybe through anecdotes, maybe fear, word of mouth, online consensus.
What everyone knows.
Exactly, even if it's not quite right. The engineering truth, though, that comes from the design, the physics, the testing, the safeguards built in by the engineers who actually designed the system. People often default to the social truth because it feels safer, or it's just easier than digging into the technical details.
Yeah, I can see that. So, armed with the system's understanding, the author felt confident. He started experimenting, not just using B mode for braking downhill, but also for accelerating away from stop signs.
He started feeling more engaged, more connected to the driving process again, more alert even.
Okay, but what happened with the fuel economy? Because normally using lower gear, higher revs, that means worse fuel economy, right?
You'd think so. And that's where the data just threw a massive curveball. This is where things get really interesting, actually. He started consistently getting fuel economy figures around. Get this, 50.2 miles per gallon.
Whoa, 50.2 in a standard Corolla LE. That's way, way above the EPA rating, isn't it? And way above his previous average, too.
Miles above it. And this is the key point. The data seem to defy that simple first principles analysis. Higher revs in B mode should mean more fuel use, right?
Right.
But the measured reality was the opposite. And this is where a concept called emergence comes into play.
Emergent. So something new, unexpected, was sort of emerging from how he was using the system.
Precisely. Emergence is when a complex system exhibits properties or behaviors that aren't obvious just from looking at its individual parts. It arises from the interactions between the parts, and in this case, the nuanced inputs from the human driver.
Okay.
Now, a less rigorous approach might have just dismissed this data, said, oh, it's an anomaly, measurement error, something's wrong. But this is where the human-AI collaboration became crucial. Like using a good scientific instrument, they trusted the surprising data and used it to dig deeper, to refine the theory.
So what did they find? What was actually happening?
Through this structured dialogue, this investigation with the AI, they pinpointed the exact technique. He calls it pulse and glide.
Pulse and glide. Okay, break that down. What's the pulse?
The pulse was using B mode for a short, brisk acceleration from a stop. This forces the engine into a really efficient, powerful part of its operating range, its map, just to get the car's mass moving effectively.
Okay, got the pulse. Then the glide.
The glide.
Yeah.
This was the clever bit. The moment he lifted his foot off the accelerator and simultaneously shifted from B to D, drive. Two things happened almost instantly, controlled by the car's computers.
Two things. What were they?
First, the engine control unit, the ECU, immediately initiated deceleration fuel cutoff, DFCO.
DFCO, right? You mentioned that. That cuts the fuel supply.
It completely stops gasoline flow to the injectors when you're decelerating or coasting. It's a standard fuel-saving feature in modern engines. So zero fuel consumption during that brief moment.
Okay, zero fuel. What was the second thing?
The second thing was related to the transmission itself. The command to shift to D told the direct shift CVT, that's Toyota's specific type of CVT, with a physical launch gear to instantly drop the high-drag engine braking ratio it was using in B mode.
And switch to what?
And switch immediately to its most efficient, lowest drag cruising ratio, the ratio it would normally use for steady, light throttle cruising on the highway.
Ah, so the boost he felt wasn't the engine pushing harder.
No, it was the sudden disappearance of the engine braking drag. The fuel was cut off, and the transmission switched to a super slippy efficient ratio all at once. The car's momentum, which he'd just built up with the efficient pulse, was then allowed to carry it forward much more freely.
Like coasting downhill almost.
Sort of. He compares it to a Formula One driver hitting the DRS button, the drag reduction system. Suddenly, a huge amount of aerodynamic drag vanishes, and the car surges forward on the straightaway. Here, it was engine drag vanishing.
Wow. And this specific interaction, this technique, it wasn't documented anywhere. Not in the manual, not on those forums, obviously.
Nowhere. It was genuinely new information about how this specific system behaved under these specific inputs. A truth that was revealed not by asking the AI for an answer that already existed out there, but by using the AI as a partner to explore the system's behavior, guided by the surprising real-world data.
That whole discovery process itself seems like a major takeaway.
Oh, absolutely. And it led to a really powerful lesson about the nature of AI itself. As a kind of control experiment, the author then posed the exact same scenario, the B-load question, the context to a different AI model. This time, Grok 3.0.
Grok. That's the one known for being influenced by social media chatter, right?
Exactly. Its training data reflects that. And its response.
Let me guess. It sounded like the forums.
Spot on. Grok gave a perfectly well-written summary of the consensus opinion, echoed the forums, raised the same cautious warnings about potential transmission damage. It perfectly reflected the social truth.
Would it miss the deeper engineering reality completely?
Completely missed it. Which really highlights this critical distinction if we connect it to the bigger picture. Some AI models function kind of like mirrors. They reflect the vast ocean of human text and opinion, including all the common knowledge and the common misconceptions.
Useful for some things, like gauging public opinion maybe, but risky if you're looking for verified truth.
Right. But other models, like Gemini was used in this collaborative way, can function more like, well, like a scientific instrument. A microscope maybe, or a telescope.
An instrument. How so?
When guided by a curious human asking the right questions, testing hypotheses, feeding it real data, it becomes a tool to probe deeper, to reveal underlying structures, physical principles, engineering realities that might be invisible to the naked eye or obscured by that social truth. It helps you move beyond just what people think is true to what is demonstrably, measurably true.
That's a powerful analogy. The AI not as an oracle, but as an instrument you learn to use skillfully.
Exactly. Think about a virtuoso musician with a violin. They aren't just playing notes written down. They're using the instrument to explore this vast, complex landscape of human emotion.
Yeah.
In a similar way, a skilled user, someone asking good questions and thinking critically, can partner with an AI to explore the incredibly complex landscape of a system, whether it's a car or a biological process or an economic model.
And the AI helps reveal things you wouldn't see otherwise, like hidden patterns.
Precisely. It can help uncover isomorphisms, those shared underlying patterns the hidden connections and harmonies between different parts of the system, or even between different systems altogether, things that are hard for the human mind alone to spot in all the complexity.
So this whole Corolla journey, it really points towards the future, doesn't it? This human AI partnership.
I really think it does. It's not about AI replacing us, replacing human thinking. It's about augmenting it. It underscores the importance of the human staying firmly in the loop, being the curious one, the skeptical one, the one asking the questions, the one guiding the instrument.
Using these incredible new tools to challenge assumptions, ask better questions, and maybe, just maybe, find a little bit of unexpected magic.
Exactly. Finding magic in surprising places.
What an incredible journey we've taken today. Seriously, from just a simple question about gas for a Corolla
Uh-huh.
to uncovering a completely unique driving technique and then landing on this profound insight about AI, truth, and how we discover things. It's a great reminder that even things we think are totally familiar, these complex systems all around us, can hold secrets, undocumented possibilities just waiting.
It really does. And it prompts, I think, an important question for you, for our listener. How could you maybe apply this idea, this collaborative inquiry using data, using critical thinking, maybe even leveraging tools like AI? How could you apply that to a complex system in your own life, your work, maybe, to try and uncover a truth that's currently hidden, maybe just by conventional wisdom or social truth?
Yeah, that's a great question to ponder. What other systems, what other things that feel totally familiar might just be waiting for you to become that curious human partner, guiding the exploration and maybe discovering your own little bit of unexpected magic?